Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. If you haven't been here in 2 years, welcome back. If you're still not here, you're still welcome on the computer. We welcome you, no matter who you are in your wanderings through religion, no matter who you are and who you love. We welcome you here in this open-minded, open-love congregation in Transylvania County. We're so glad you're with us. I am Reverend Bob Renjilian, and I'll be preaching today. Some of you may also want to know what was on the announcement screens. I just want to emphasize we've got a couple things coming up by next Friday or Saturday that didn't get in the newsletter, and we really wanted you to see them on the screen saying, hey, we have a family really in need of helping to sort through storage and some other things. And we have our volunteer commitment to Sharing House. We would like to have folks who are volunteers to help with restocking the pantry and all. That means not at Sharing House itself, but out at places to get the food. So I emphasize those. I also emphasize that next Sunday between services we will have our congregational meeting, and we hope that all the voting members will be showing up. We have choir, so we're pretty close to quorum, and we hope that you'll all enjoy being here and getting through the business and then getting your coffee. So again, welcome, glad you're here.
Come, let us worship together on this beautiful Mother's Day morning. Our Soul Matters theme for this month is Nurturing Beauty, and who better to embody this theme than mothers who give up their bodies, hearts, and souls to each of us as we begin our lifetimes on this earth. Mothers who guide us with their love, their gentle but firm hands, their laughter, their soft and their stern voices, their fierce protection of us, who shape our lives with their commitment to provide all that we need to enter lives as strong, sturdy adults. Khalil Gibran said, "Mother, the most beautiful word on the lips of mankind." The mother archetype is the giver of life. She's the one who gave birth to the stars, the planets, the suns, the moons, and our world. She is the protector and nurturer of the life force of the cosmos. She has the capacity for the immense expression of unconditional love, devotion, and caring. We all come under the influence of the mother archetype when we birth a project out into the world. Examples of projects we birth are books, businesses, new houses, works of art, room designs, engineering drawings, and so on. Creative projects don't have to be artistic in nature, they just need to be something new in the world that wasn't there before you brought it into form. Mothers, in all their manifestations, make up the complexity of experiences we have, shaping our personal internal world views that allow us to learn and grow throughout our lifetime. Mothers manifest in our lives in many different ways, but the common denominator, if nothing else, is we were all formed within and delivered from their life-giving bodies. To glimpse into the many aspects of motherhood, our reading is The Circle of Care by Lisa Beauvais-Kemper. In religious community, we share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and our broken places. In this circle of care, we make space for the complexity of life, the myriad experiences that bless and break our hearts. The truth of human experience dictates that on any given day, we each come to the table with hearts in different places. It's especially so on this day, invented to honor women who nurture. In this circle of care, we honor the truth that mothering is not and never will be quantified in one single descriptor. Mothering can be elusive or infuriating, fulfilling or confusing, commonplace or triumphant. It exists in the everyday experience of each person. There's no human being that is not connected to or disconnected from a mother. And so we honor the complexity of experience writ large in flowered platitudes, but here in this space, laid bare, honoring the truth in each of our hearts. There is room for all in this circle. If you have carried a child or children, whether or not they came to be born, we see you. If you have fervently wished to do so, and circumstances of fate made it impossible, we see you. If you love children we cannot see, whether because of death or estrangement, we see you. If you never wanted to be a mother, we see you. If you are happy to mother other people's children, as an educator, an auntie, or a foster parent, we see you. If your mother hurt you physically or emotionally, we see you. If you had no mother at all, we see you. If your mother is or was your best friend, we see you. If your gender says you're not a mother, and yet you take on the role of nurturer, we see you. If you wonder whether your mothering has been enough, we see you. And if yours is a different truth altogether, we honor your unspoken story. There is room for all in this circle. May it be so today and always. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is number 77, Seek Not Afar for Beauty. Please sit or rise as you are willing and able, and join us as we sing.
Not afar for beauty, lo, it glows. In dew-wet grasses all about your feet. In birds in sunshine, childish faces sweet. In stars and mountain summits topped with snow. Go not abroad for happiness, behold. It is a flower blossoming at your door. Bring love and laughter home and evermore. Joy shall be yours as changing years unfold. Wonder workings o'er some bush aflame, we look for truth and fancy it concealed. But in its common things it stands revealed. Wild grass and flowers just above the name.
Moving more deeply into our service, our chalice lighting will bring our focus to the poignancy of beauty. Please join in as we say these words together. Within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty. Within the heart of community, a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us, a spark, a spirit of life. Holy, holy, holy. How many times do we say, I just need some time in a beautiful place to clear my head? These next few quotes will describe the reasons why this is so important to us. Joseph Addison says, there is nothing that makes its way more directly to the soul than beauty. And from Helen Keller, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Mother Antonia takes it a step further and says, everything you do adds to the beauty of the world or takes away from it. And from Tyler Kent White, I promise if you keep searching for everything beautiful in this world, you will eventually become it. As we can see, it's not only observing beauty that is so precious to us, but our interaction with it that allows us to nurture the beauty we see. We nurture beauty into our hearts and very beings, and as we internalize it, we are able to manifest that beauty into the world. The core emotion we feel in the presence of beauty is very real and colors the way we interact with the world. Every choice we make, every action we take, splinters into a full-blown universe of its own with a real life. Beauty comforts us in times of need. It allows us to rise to great heights in times of adversity, and it allows us to nurture the earth and our loved ones with its awesome, profound presence in our lives. The anthem this morning is Days of Beauty by Ola Yelo. It gives us some glimpses into the ways we experience comfort and beauty in the dark times. The words are, when days of beauty deck the earth or stormy nights descend, how well our spirits know the path on which to wend. Consecrated path. Let's listen. Days of beauty.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin. I work with the children here, and I was going to ask if our kids here today could come on up and help me with something. All right. We have Kitra and we have Cadence here. And if each of y'all hold a couple of these, and if you could turn around and hold them so that our audience can see them. And we're going to talk about Mother's Day a little bit, and I love the reading by Janice about Mother's Day and how basically I think it's a day for all those who nurture, particularly for mothers, but all those who nurture. And Mother's Day in the U.S. started many years back with a church service designed to honor mothers, but it's sort of also over the years turned into what we sometimes call a Hallmark holiday, which they really want you to buy some stuff for it and buy certain cards. And oftentimes, mothers have been shown a particular way. They're oftentimes shown to be white, holding 2 or 3 kids. And it's usually, you look like you're prosperous and you have a string of pearls on, kind of like June Cleaver, if anyone remembers her from the show Leave It to Beaver from years back. Well, from our Soul Matters curriculum, I found that there's an organization out there called Mama's Day, which looks at Mother's Day a little bit differently. And in Mama's Day, they'll show moms or those who mother in a little bit different light. And if we can show a couple of these, one of this says, "Your ability to love is limitless." And it shows a mom or someone who mothers and a little girl here. And maybe they have a difference or a disability, but they've turned them into centaurs. One walks with the aid of kind of a stepper or helper, and the other one has artificial or new legs. I like that one a lot. Hold that, Cadence. Over here, we see different moms, different racially shown, and it's hard to see it on that one, but there's a connection between their hearts. Sorry, that might have been me. And show another one here, Kitra. On this one, just many shades of color of a mother's face. Maybe it's many generations. And then one of my favorites, if you could show the next one, Cadence, is it says, "Gender is a universe and mom is a star." And it shows somebody that might be a mom or a mothering person, or maybe a person who's trans, but I like those. And so the idea is for Mother's Day, let's remember all those who nurture and everyone who might not be the normal Hallmark looking card of a mother. And now our kids are going to go out, and we're going to go out with Miss Carrie and Mr. Luke to our children's program. And to do that, thank you, Bart, for remembering, we're going to light our candle. Thanks. You want to do it with her? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Reverend Bob.
If there were any notes to be passed forward to me, now would be the time. I invite you to center yourself, breathe deep, enter into this time of prayer and meditation. Spirit of love and life, we gather here on this day, remembering those who nurtured beauty around us. May we remember those families we were born into or adopted later in life, who nurtured that beauty within us. With gratitude, we say thank you as our prayer. Thank you to all who touched, found, and nurtured something in us. We also pray for the joys of beautiful days, lovely opportunities to notice the caterpillars, the butterflies, the moths, the vibrant greens of springtime, the unfurling ferns, the roar of spring peepers, the songs of birds. For each time we know that we have recognized that beauty outside of us, it affects our insides too. With joy, we rejoice in this springtime. Our hearts go out to those who have lit the candles this morning, perhaps for those who have passed away in their lives, a grief, maybe for those that they are hoping will recover from illnesses, maybe with cares and concerns not yet ready to be spoken. In particular, this morning, our hearts go out to Joan Lemire upon the news that Tom Bindrum passed away Monday morning in hospice care. Our thoughts and prayers also go out to Joseph Koffler, who has just transitioned to hospice care. Our prayers are to all who taught us that we were beautiful or showed us the beauty all around us. We hold these and the prayers of our hearts now in the silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen. Blessed be. Our time with one another comes with sponsorship. I could start reading off the names, just like on PBS. Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County are supported by the gifts of many members, including, and then start naming folks. As we pass the baskets for the collection today, we have a special announcement first, so ushers, you can hold off for a second, because we are in a new month and a new special collection. But I also want you to notice that sometimes people pass the basket on, and if you're a visitor here or not familiar with us, it may mean that that person has already contributed electronically. It may also mean that the people we don't see here with us or those among us have written us into the will so that UUTC will become a beneficiary even as a gift at death. We are a generous people, and we gratefully receive what you offer. Just as we also are grateful for the services and organizations that meet the needs of others. We'll now watch Carol Moore speak to one of those.
Good morning. I'm Carol Moore, and I've been a member of this congregation since 2011. I'm here to talk to you this morning about May's charitable giving agency, which is Pisgah Legal Services. Pisgah Legal Services is a charity which I personally fully support. When I represented the public schools in Pitt County, North Carolina, before I retired, I worked closely with legal services, mostly concerning homeless children in the county. I even became close friends with one of their attorneys. We went tent camping on one of the Outer Banks, which is one of the good memories I have from that period. I came to fully respect the work of legal services and am pleased that Pisgah Legal is UUTC's designated agency for May. Legal services seek justice for those for whom no other agency can help. It tries to secure safety from domestic violence, to stop unfair evictions, to save homes from foreclosures, to keep children safe from abuse, to find access to affordable health care, and to help immigrants navigate the law, among other services. Nearly 3/4 of low-income households in the United States experienced a civil legal problem in pre-COVID years. In 2019, Pisgah legal staff were assisted by more than 14,000 volunteer hours. Donations like ours provided 28% of its $5.2 million budget. With such volunteers and funds, Pisgah Legal operated 13 legal programs, including in the areas of children's law, consumer law, elder law, homelessness prevention, veterans law, immigrant justice, and a mountain area legal hotline. Its client benefits were quantifiable at $24.6 million. That is a 4-to-1 return on our investment in them. The pandemic has increased the need for Pisgah legal services. Please be as generous as you can in supporting this month's designated UUTC charity. Thank you.
In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love.
Thank you. What is given in love, we receive with great joy, and we say, thank you. When I think of nurturing beauty, among those people that I think of as doing that in my life are the poets, people who have me see more deeply, to love something I had never seen before, perhaps, to understand another person's heart. I'm reading from Maya Angelou. The late Maya Angelou is one of those folks whose poems have deep meaning. Here is Phenomenal Woman. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model's size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees and they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. And I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing of my waist, the joy in my feet. I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I am a woman, phenomenally woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care. 'Cause I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Those who nurture beauty. So many in our society who have tried to bring us back to beauty and and seeing the good all around us. To know that there is something in everything. Maya Angelou is, of course, not the only poet that I read, but I'm going to center on Phenomenal Woman, that poem, a little bit here. Because you see, for me, what I hear, what I see in that is someone who to the very core exudes a confidence in the beauty and the value of themselves. That phrase, when you see me walking by, you should be proud. I hold my head high. That says to me, this is a person who has been nurtured into beauty, who was recognized and recognizes then themselves. Maya Angelou's life and biography, for those of you who are not familiar, was not straightforward, was not easy. Actually, trauma in childhood left her not speaking for years. It also meant she was sent away from home to live with her grandmother. Maya Angelou, in her interview on NPR and before her death, said, "I was sent back to my father's mother, who was raising me in Arkansas, and my grandmother said to me, 'Sister, Mama don't care what these people say, that you must be an idiot or you must be a moron because you can't speak. Mama don't care. Mama know when you and the good Lord are ready, sister, you're going to teach all over the world.'" To have somebody in your life, in her case, her grandmother, to take a moment to say, "I don't care. I see something in you. I don't care what the other people say. I see something in you." For a kid to know they're not awful, they're not, as her grandmother said, a moron or an idiot, whatever people were calling her. You're not doing what other people think you should be doing. I know you're going to teach the world someday. Maybe you got that from folks you didn't expect it from. You had a class in school in which you were quite sure that this was going to be a struggle, and indeed it was, but somehow the teacher looked at you and said, "I know you got something in you." Or maybe you had a relative like a grandmother. Now, I did not have a rough growing up. I talk about the wonder of walking through the woods and feeling connected to life, the universe, and everything, and the stories of what my mom and dad did to have my brother and I feel supported and nurtured and loved. But I became a teenager. Now, I don't care how great a mom or a dad you may have been, when your child becomes a teenager, there is something that becomes a challenge. And my ability to be so calm and rational and loving and kind seemed to sometimes forget that around my mom. Needed to push away. Needed to struggle a bit. Needed to shut myself off and have my own private self. This is so different from the little kid who would crawl up into her lap and ask her to read a story or sing. No, I kind of would just argue. I don't want dinner now. I don't want to set the table now. I don't want anything. Whatever you say, I'm going to say the opposite. Now, during this time, we were going to my paternal grandmother's house every Saturday as a family. And my uncle, my aunt, my grandmother, sometimes my great aunt, whole family gathered around. And I had people that I did not have to argue with in order to show I was my own independent person. And my grandmother would ask me a question, and I'd just go ahead and answer it instead of being all grumpy about it. Or she'd talk about things and say, well, that sounds like a wonderful thing that you're doing right now. And I would feel that love reflected. Came across a picture the other day of me as a tiny child, not as a teen, but as a tiny child, looking at her gardens, her backyard gardens on the south side of the house. So many beautiful things nurtured and growing. I didn't know the names of all of them, but I knew that she loved doing it. She loved nurturing that. There are sometimes people in our lives like that, who at the moment we need them help us. They are the people, those who nurture beauty. We had a first lady a decade ago who would be ridiculed by those who wanted to make fun of her for her race, for her looks, for her manner. It's pretty tough. Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama said, when she was speaking at Maya Angelou's memorial as First Lady, she said, "The first time I read Phenomenal Woman, I was struck by how she celebrated black women's beauty like no one had ever dared to before. Our curves, our stride, our strength, our grace. Her words were clever and sassy. They were powerful and sexual and boastful. And in that one singular poem, Maya Angelou spoke to the essence of black women, but she also graced us with an anthem for all women, a call for all of us to embrace our God-given beauty." And oh, how desperately black girls needed that message. As a young woman, I needed that message. As a child, my first doll was Malibu Barbie. That was the standard of perfection. That was what the world told me to aspire to. But then I discovered Maya Angelou, and her words lifted me right out of my own little head. They hadn't met. They hadn't had time together. They hadn't been able to exchange and say mama to one another in some way of recognizing the nurturing that had occurred, at least not when Michelle Obama was a child. This was someone completely distant. Maybe you remember someone who, was on your iPod as a teenager, or I'm looking out that at this audience, on your record machine, on the radio, playing on your CD favorites, whatever it was. I see that. The songs that bring you to tears, the songs that bring you to joy, the artists who have nurtured something of beauty straight into the hearts of others. Nurturing beauty. Maya Angelou did that for others, did that for whole generations of others. I know, as Janice said in the opening of this service, that yes, indeed, there are those of us who were not nurtured in our homes the way we needed. There are those of us who were nurtured even better at points in our life by those maybe we didn't even meet or a once or twice chance encounter. There are those of us who provided that one instance. Maybe you're a teacher or someone and a child came back to you later, years later, saying, I remember that moment. Maybe you don't, but they did. Those who nurture beauty in one another are gifts and saints. As the song before this sermon said, I choose love. And those of us who have been nurtured to see beauty know how to turn to love. May it be so for all of us. May we remember those who have nurtured us, who have nurtured beauty, who have made something of beauty of this world, that we might be able to walk through it with our chins held high. Not the Malibu Barbies, but the beautiful people and sparks of life that we are. Thank you. Thank you to all the people in my life who have done that. It is a blessing. Our closing hymn is going to take a lot of nurturing of beauty. Why? Because we don't know it. So I'm going to even pick up a hymn book and read along with it because I'm going to have to help you sing. And you know what? The Bible says make a beautiful noise. It doesn't actually say sing beautifully. It just says make a beautiful noise. And I'm going to encourage you in whatever ways, in reading what's on the screen, in following along with an perhaps unfamiliar tune, that you make a beautiful noise. And together we will nurture it into a beauty. And we're just going to have to walk away and say, yep, we saw some beauty in that. All right, thank you. Our benediction is in unison. Do you have a slide for this one? Thank you. This is attributed to the Navajo in our hymn book. Beauty is before me. Would you read along? Beauty is before me, and beauty is behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it is begun. In beauty, it is ended. We extinguish this light, but not the spark of beauty in each of us. As we go out, may you bring that spark in the nurturing to others. Blessings on all of you.